final match between Georgia Tech and UC Davis. It's all gonna come down to this final solve. And just like that, UC Davis takes the whole thing. Berkeley shows San Diego they're not here to mess around. And Andrew takes that solve from Hamza. What a match. Welcome everybody to this round of 32 matchup of the Collegiate Cubing Championships. We have an excellent matchup for you guys this afternoon between the number 14 seed Auburn University and the number 19 seed NYU. My name is Martin and I'll be your host this afternoon. And just to remind you, we'll be doing a best of 3 sets with each set as a head-to-head matchup of a best of 7 solves. First team to win 2 sets will win this match and move on to the next round of the tournament. Now, folks, you guys are in for a treat this afternoon. This is a big match. This is our final match of the first round of our tournament. And I don't know if you guys were there on Thursday for our last matchup, but Auburn had to make a last-minute substitution. So they're actually coming in now with a bit of a disadvantage. So it will be an interesting matchup for sure to see how this plays out. But yeah, this is going to be our last matchup of our first round. So we want to get started here pretty quickly. So let's take a second to meet our first 2 competitors. They're on the left side of your screen, and this is going to be Auburn's substitution. We have Luke solving on the GAN 356i, averaging around 18.43 seconds. Then on the right side of your screen, solving for NYU, we have Daniel solving on the WRM V9, averaging around 13.18 seconds. Now, we did a coin toss earlier, and Auburn won, so they'll be starting first. But as you can see in this first matchup, Auburn has about a 5-second disadvantage, pretty significant considering they were originally ranked higher than NYU and were coming in with a, I believe it was around a 2-second edge on NYU. So Luke getting things started for Auburn there on the left side of your screen. Looks like he's going to go with yellow cross here. Quite smooth F2L and cross. Pretty easy OLO going into a G prim, it looks like. We'll see what the official time on that is. That's going to be a 14.90 for Luke. So an excellent start.
Nice, dude. Good job.
Going to put a little bit of pressure on Daniel here. This is going to be a very unexpected match. I think you guys are in for a treat. This is going to be Auburn's. Auburn has two big matches today. If you guys are into basketball, they're playing Alabama as well today. So a big match for Auburn, especially. Daniel getting things started for NYU. Looks like he's going with white cross here. I have a few more lockups than Luke. Pretty quick F2L and cross. Going into Olo now. Well, it's going to be pretty close. That's going to be a 13.73 for Daniel, so he takes that first solve, but not by as much as we probably would have expected. Daniel solving right around his normal average. Luke defying expectations, getting a sub 15 here. So a very excellent start for Luke. But Daniel still takes that first solve here.
Yeah, he goes first now.
Now we do alternating solve, so Daniel is going to be starting the second solve of this first set. We'll see what he's able to do for NYU. Looks like he might be looking at white cross here. See what he goes with. Going in, finishing up F2L here in just a second. The sub 10 going into PLL. A fantastic solve for Daniel. That's going to be a 10.88. Definitely going to be a little bit tough for Luke to respond to that.
Oh, man.
We'll see what he can do. When we were getting things set up for Luke, he did say that it's been a while since he's solved competitively, so maybe he can tap into some hidden talents here that aren't showing through on his numbers. But we'll see what Luke is able to throw together for Auburn in his second solve. Luke going in with white cross here. Smooth controlled turning from Luke here. Going into OLL now. Going into a U-perm. Got some lockups there. He's able to finish with not too bad of a time. It looks like there's going to be a 16.37 for Luke.
What was it?
So Daniel takes that second solve, but Luke still showing that he's got a bit of a fight in him. So we'll see how he starts off the third solve going into this third solve of this first set. So now looking ahead to this matchup, the next set is going to be awfully close. When we do our little competitor introduction, you guys will see just how similar the two competitors are. Then going into the final set, Auburn has a pretty clear advantage. So NYU coming into the first set with an advantage. Second set is going to be a bit of a toss-up. Third set is in Auburn's advantage. That second set is going to mean a lot, especially for Auburn. But Luke starting off the third solve of this first set. Going in with white cross here. Looks like we got an A-perm here. Got some lockups. Could have been about a sub 15, it looks like. Probably going to come out to be a 17.15 from Luke. Maybe a little bit frustrated with that one. Looks like he knew that could have been a little bit faster.
This is about what I expected to happen.
It looks like his cube doesn't have magnets in it. Looks to be a pretty old cube. Might be holding him back a little bit. But Daniel going to be responding to Luke's 17.15 here. Daniel going in with white cross, it looks like. Finishing up F2L around 7 seconds there. Going into PLL around 9 seconds. Got to get a 12.20 from Daniel, so he's able to comfortably take that third solve. So Daniel up 3-0 on Luke, just one solve away from winning this first set. Maybe Luke can go back to some of the solving we saw from that first solve where he got that 14.90. But Daniel coming out with 3 solves so far to Luke's 0. I'm not sure if I've seen this strategy from Daniel before of holding the white cross, I think, to him as he starts to solve.
At least for this session, the last 280 solves.
Yeah, no, I've been.
But it seems to be working out all right for him. Daniel probably looking to start with white cross going into the fourth solve of this first set. An 8-second F2L into a G-perm, it looks like. It's going to be a 13.13 from Daniel. So pretty strong solve for Daniel. We'll see what Luke has in him. Going to be a little bit tough to respond to this, but we saw that initial sub 15, so we know he's got some speedy solving in him. See if he can tap into that, stop Daniel from winning this set here. Slow NYU's momentum down a little bit. Luke going in for his fourth solve of this first set. Start off with yellow cross, it looks like, mixing things up a little bit. And then 8-second F2L, it looks like. You can remember this PLL. Really fantastic solve from Luke. Going to be a 14.88. So a great finish for Luke, but not quite enough to defeat Daniel there. So Daniel taking his fourth solve, winning that first set for NYU. Putting NYU up on the board early. But Luke showing some strong solving here. Let's take a quick look at this set before we move on. Luke starting off with that sub 15, then going back to the 16 and 17, but finishing strong with another sub 15. So some really fantastic, unexpected solving from Luke, but not quite enough to take on Daniel. He gets a 13, then a 10, a 12, and another 13. They end up getting a mean of a 12.49, a little bit faster than his normal average. Luke, similar story over here, 15.83, quite a bit faster than his normal average. NYU getting some momentum, coming out on top for this first set. I think this is going to be a big deal for NYU moving into the second set. Like I said, Auburn is going to be coming into the third set with a pretty clear advantage. So the second set is going to mean a lot. And as you can see just how similar these competitors are. Nate for Auburn there on the left side of your screen with a 12.37 average. McLain on the right side of your screen solving with Phil from the Cubicles, own cube, with that 11.16 average. You can see similar PB singles, similar PB averages, and the same number of WCA medals. I believe Phil solves on a WRMV 9 as well. So similar cubes, similar competitors, similar stats. This is going to be a close match, and NYU's coming in with the momentum. Like I said, Auburn will have the advantage going into the third set, so the pressure is on for Nate here to take this set for Auburn and give them a pretty good chance to win. But remember, if McLain wins this set, NYU will move on to the next round of the competition, upsetting Auburn here. So McLain's going to be starting off for NYU. We'll see how he gets started. NYU coming in with a lot of momentum. We'll see what he's able to do here.
8 seconds.
It's like he's looking at Orange Cross here. Some F2L pauses, but overall not too bad. Moving into PLL now. Very snappy solving from McLain. Gets a 12.52. Pretty good start. But now all eyes are on Nate here. The fate of Auburn rests on his shoulders. A big, big moment for Nate. We'll see what he's able to get started for Auburn. Maybe pick up the momentum a little bit. Keep Auburn in the game. Nate looking at yellow cross, it looks like. Pauses in F2L, but he's able to recover. Going into OLL around 7 seconds here. Finish it with PL, but he gets a DNF. Fantastic pace. Would have been a 10-second solve here, 10.29. But he doesn't quite finish off that PLL. That looked to maybe be a G perm, I think. So that first solve goes to NYU. Nate on excellent pace here. We can see the kind of solving that Nate has in him. If he's able to get a hang of his nerves, he's got this. He can definitely beat McLain here and keep Auburn in this matchup. He's got to shake off this DNF, though. NYU coming in with loads of momentum. That's going to be a big deal. Nate looks like he's feeling the nerves a little bit. He's got to shake off that DNF, keep Auburn in this set. In this whole matchup, excuse me.
8 seconds.
Looks like Nate is looking at white cross here. Got to shake off that DNF. Much smoother F2L going into OLL around 6 seconds, finishing with PL. He nails that sub 10. It looks like going to be a 9.41 from Nate. He's clearly very happy about that, as he should be. Very strong start from Nate. He's able to shake off that DNF, pick up some momentum for Auburn here in this monumental second set here. McLain having to respond to that 9.41. Definitely within his range, but going to be a little bit tough. Now, he does have the momentum. NYU has the momentum. We'll see how McLain responds to this. Looks like he's looking at Orange Cross here. Very snappy solving. Finishing up OLL around 7 seconds. It was a great solve from McLain. It's going to be close. It's a 10.16. So fantastic solve from both competitors, but Nate is able to edge out NYU here, stopping their momentum in its tracks. He takes a solve for Auburn, putting Auburn up on the board by about 0.7 of a second. Big solve for Nate here, taking the momentum back for Auburn, giving them a chance to take the set. Both competitors looks like dealing with some nerves. They know how big this set is. If NYU wins, it's all over. The last set won't matter in terms of the who moves on to the next round of the competition. Big set for Auburn as well. They got to win this set to stay in the competition, and they have the advantage in the third set. McLain looking to start off the third solve of this second set. Going in with red cross here. Quick, snappy turning from McLain. Going into PLL around 8 seconds. It's going to be a 10.32 from McLain. So consistently strong, quick solving from McLain. Similar solving from Nate there. He did start off with that DNF, but it looks like he was able to shake that off. Move on with the sub 10 in the second solve.
Smooth as grass. Yeah.
Able to get a hold of his nerves here. Stay in this match. Looks like he's looking at yellow cross, I think.
12 seconds.
Nate's going in with yellow cross. Super smooth F2L. Going into OLL around 6 seconds, but lockups probably might cost him.
Okay.
Be a 10.71. So McLain just edging out Nate there by 0.4 of a second. Nate, it looked like Nate almost had that one, but it looks like those lockups in PLL cost him dearly there. Would have shaved off maybe about a second.
What's funny is I have a speed.
Be a tough break for Nate. He's going to have to stay in this competition. He has to get his head in the game, stay locked in, shake off those nerves.
To get this team man one, which is.
I think Nate going to be starting off the fourth solve of this huge second set. He got a little bit of momentum going with Auburn, showing that first sub 10 of this matchup. He's able to shake off that DNF pretty well. He's got to shake off that last solve now as well. He had that one. Just got to stay locked in. Nate going in with yellow cross here. Lockups giving him some trouble, and he gets a +2.
I'm so nervous.
Very unfortunate +2, and that's going to be a 13.38. Definitely some frustration from Nate there.
I think I just threw, dude. Oh no.
Big lockups, and an even bigger +2 cost him a lot of time. It's going to be official time of 13.38.
So now I just need to get
We'll see how McLain responds to that. Definitely within his range as well. McLain going in with red cross. Starting off a little bit slower. Not as quick turning as we've seen from him. Going into PLL around 10 seconds. Well, it's going to be close on this one too. But McLain getting the 12.74, so he's able to safely take that fourth solve. So now McLain up 2 solves on Nate, just 1 solve away from winning the set. Upsetting Auburn here.
That's rough. I'm sorry. But it's okay.
A lot of pressure on Nate. And I think he knows it as well. McLain takes this solve. Auburn is knocked out. But now Nate knows that he can solve faster, and I think we've seen from his solving, if he's able to solve well, we see that smooth F2L, smooth transitions, but lockups, +2s, DNFs, costing him 2 solves now. But Nate just got to shake that off. Get a hold of his nerves. McLain has a little bit of momentum going on. So we'll see how he starts this 5th solve. McLain looking at orange cross, I think. Yeah, and a little bit of a slower start. He's able to pick up some momentum on F2L. 7 seconds going into OLL. Oh, that's a real good solve from McLain. Going to be a 10.13. So definitely putting the pressure on Nate. I think he could see the time come in there. McLain feeling the pressure or something. Not quite sure what that was. But Nate taking a second, get a hold of his nerves. It's a big solve. Big solve. This is going to be tough for Nate to respond to regardless. But if McLain wins this solve, NYU takes this set and moves on to the next round of the competition. Nate starting off with yellow cross here. To Ola around 5 seconds. With PL, and he nails it! He nails it! Looks like there's going to be an 8.25 from Nate. So Auburn stays in this competition. A fantastic solve. Nate now 2 solves on McLain's 3. McLain, a little surprised it looks like. It's not over. Auburn still kicking. Nate putting up a fight. Huge solve for Auburn there, but Nate nails it. The set now going into its 6th solve. Auburn with the momentum here. A huge solve for Nate. They stay in this competition. Now Nate going to be starting off the 6th solve of this set. Got to get a hold of himself. Take his time when he can solve calmly, controlled. No lockups, no pauses. We see these 8-second times, these 9-second times from Nate. He's just got to get a hold of those nerves. He knows the pressure, but he can't feel it. Nate going in with yellow cross. He has the momentum here. Lockups and F12. It's going to cost him a couple of seconds, but going into PLO at a pretty decent pace. But massive lockups in PLO. But he solves the cube.
That was still a good time. Not bad.
He had 10.48 from Nate. Folks, this is going to be close. Now McLain responding to Nate's 10.48. Just 1 solve away from winning this set.
Thank you, whoever said that.
10.48, definitely within McLain's range. Solve. McLain looking at yellow cross here. Now, I think he was solving on orange and red cross most of this set.
He can't win this. If he wins this, he's
Going into OLL around 8-9 seconds. Going into PLL around 12 seconds. McLain messing up a little bit, a 14.02. Not sure if it was starting on the yellow cross there, but Nate takes that solve. He looks a little surprised maybe.
Tilt it up, hold it there, but tilt it.
That's going to be a 14.02 for McLain. And so Nate keeping on. Nate showing his surprise there. Is now 3-3. Nate coming off of 2 solves over McLain. Not sure what happened with McLain there. I think he was solving on red and orange cross most of this set, and then he went to yellow cross. Not sure if red and orange are just his primary colors, trying to see a good solution on yellow cross there. It didn't work out for him. Not quite sure what happened. Didn't see that quick, snappy solving that we're used to. But now, folks, this set going into its 7th and final solve. This decides this set right here, this final solve between Nate and McLain. McLain going to be starting off for NYU. Both competitors warming up, getting a hang of their nerves. Big set here. If McLain takes this, NYU upsets Auburn, moving into the next round of the competition. If Nate wins, this pushes this matchup into a 3rd set, giving the Auburn the advantage going into the 3rd set. But we'll see here. Folks, this is big. This is big. McLain starting off for NYU.
Am I supposed to go? It still says do not start.
Looks like he's taking a good look at red cross here. Gonna go with red cross. Trouble finding that first F2L pair. Going to OL around 7 seconds. Show PLL. That's a good solve from McLain at 10.51. I think he flubbed up that last solve with the 14.02, but McLain putting the pressure on Nate here. A big solve from Nate. You've seen lockups, +2s, DNFs plaguing Nate a little bit this set. I think all due to nerves. He's just got to get a hold of himself. He knows the pressure, but he can't feel it. Nate looking at yellow cross here. It's going to come down to this final solve. Nate looking at yellow cross. Lockups in an OLL. Huge lockups in OLL. It's going to cost them. It's going to cost Nate those massive lockups in OLL. Unfortunate lockups. 14.72 from Nate. Hugely unfortunate. And so McLain takes that second set for NYU. Valiant effort from Nate. Cannot overstate that. We saw some fantastic solving. A 9-second and 8-second. Coming back from some adversity. Fighting against the momentum that NYU built up early on. Valiant effort, but not enough to take down McLain. What a shocking set. So NYU up 2 sets on Auburn, meaning they'll move on to the next round of the competition. Nate putting up an excellent fight. Unfortunate lockups are going to cost him a lot of time, allowing McLain to step in and take that second set. Wow. Let's take a quick look at the solves. Folks, you can see just how close these competitors were in times. Nate averaging 11.16, McLain and 11.49. So from McLain, we can see a little bit more consistency here. Looks like that's going to be 4 low 10s from McLain, a couple of 12s, so not too bad, and then that 14.02. Nate a little bit more all over the board, but we see some really solid solving from Nate with the 9.41 and the 8.25 coming back from some adversity. We started off with the DNF, but he was able to shake that off, come back with the 9.41. But lockups cost Nate seconds on seconds, allowing McLain to step in and take some solves from Nate, allowing him to clinch that second set. Very unfortunate and sad to see from Auburn here. Super close set, but Nate not able to clinch it for Auburn. Meaning NYU has won this matchup. We'll move on to the next round of the competition, and they upset Auburn here. A very shocking upset, but we still have one more set to get through. Auburn coming in with the advantage of this third set. Let's take a quick look at our competitors. As you can see, Kevin with the 8.45 second average solving on the GAN 12. David with the 10.84 average solving on the RS3M. Kevin coming in with about a 2-second advantage over David here. NYU has won this set, but hopefully Kevin is able to put Auburn up on the board. Keep them still kicking in our overall rankings. But an absolutely shocking upset. So I think Kevin on the left side of your screen will be starting off for Auburn here. Kevin looking at yellow cross, I think. Going to go with white cross here. A little bit of pausing at F2L, but moving into OLL around 6 seconds. It's going to be a 9.61 from Kevin. A little bit of a slower start. David going to responding to Kevin's 9.61. Probably not quite as fast as we expected to see from Kevin, but still going to be a little bit tough for David to respond to. Let's see what David can do. Very quick start from David, going in with the blue cross. Going into OLL around 5 seconds there, but I think he messed that up. Going into PLL lockups on that V-perm. I think that's going to be about a 12-second solve. It's going to be a 12.09 from David. So Kevin takes that first solve. But we saw David was on pretty good pace. He was going into OLL around 5 seconds, but he messed that OLL up, and then massive lockups in PLL cost him quite a few seconds there. So this set may be a little bit closer than we originally anticipated. And as we saw with the last set and a couple other times during this competition, it may come down to nerve management. And I think Kevin has a bit of an advantage. I didn't mention earlier, but he actually has a continental record and a couple national records in feet of all events. So Kevin, a well-respected, well-accomplished cuber in his own right. But David going in for this second solve on a pretty decent pace. Going to be a 10.63 from David here. So not too bad. Kevin going to have to stay locked in. I will mention in practice, Kevin was able to pull a couple of 6s out of his pocket, some low 7s, but we also saw some 10s and some low 9-second solving from him. So we'll see what he's able to do in competition here. Going into OLL around 6 seconds, pretty good. It's going to be an 8 flat. So Kevin comfortably taking that second solve from David. So Kevin looks to be warming up, locking in a little bit. But David can still put up a fight here. We'll see what he's able to do. Kevin right now just looking to stop Auburn from getting swept in this matchup. It's a rough day for Auburn already. Getting upset by NYU here. And probably going to get upset by Alabama. Hopefully, we'll see in basketball, but we'll see. Kevin going in for the third solve. Starting off with white cross here. He's at 8.17, but a +2. Going to cost him. It's going to be an official 10.17 second solve. So an opportunity for David here to get a little bit of momentum going for NYU in this final set. 10.17, definitely within his normal solving range. He's got to handle those nerves, stay locked in. David going in with blue cross here. Going into PLO on fantastic pace with a U-perm. Some lockups. It's going to be close. It's going to be 11.47 from David. So that was his opportunity there to easily take a solve from Kevin, but he's not able to capitalize on that. Kevin now up 3 solves on David's 0. So Kevin just 1 solve away from putting Auburn up on the board, stopping them from getting swept. I think David going to be starting off the 4th solve of this final set. David going in with blue cross again. Massive lockups in OLL. And PLL as well. Still manages to get a 12.17. Not too disastrous for David, but not great either. Kevin responding to David's 12.17. Just got to stay locked in here. He should be able to easily take this solve and this set for NYU. Or Auburn, excuse me. Kevin going in with white cross here. Going into OLL around 6 seconds. Gets a 9.08, no +2. He solves the cube. So Kevin taking that final solve by about 3 seconds. So he wins that final set for Auburn. Auburn doesn't get swept, but they do get upsetted by NYU here. An absolutely wild matchup. Let's take one quick look at... oops, that was the wrong one. Here you go. Let's look at this... this set here. So Kevin started off with a 9.61. He gave that opportunity there in the third solve with a 10.17. David not able to capitalize it. In fact, David not quite solving at the normal speed we kind of expected from him. Not too bad for him either. Kevin getting in with that average of 9.21. It's a little bit slower than we thought we would see from him. Similar story from David here. Kevin taking that final set 4-0 for Auburn. But NYU still coming out as the victor, taking 2 sets over Auburn's 1. So they'll move on to the next round of the competition. We take a quick look at our bracket here. You can see that was our final matchup of the first round. NYU moving on to face number 3 Ohio State. A tough match. Auburn, at least they can watch from afar. Definitely going to be a tough matchup for NYU there, but NYU get the opportunity to move on to the second round of our competition. I just wanted to show this to you guys as well. Our CCC top 12 poll is now out for round 2 as well. You can see the top 4 juggernauts holding on to their top 4 positions, but those final 8 teams shaking up quite a bit. Penn State, Vanderbilt fighting for that number 5 position, and a lot of shaking up in those final 12 positions. In fact, I think we might even be able to see who is going to be better, Penn State or Vanderbilt. I think they're our next matchup. We can get that pulled up real quick. Oh, Georgia Tech versus Tufts. I think Penn State Vanderbilt is going to be after that. But that's going to be it for us, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Congratulations to NYU upsetting Auburn here, taking 2 sets to Auburn's 1. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll be moving on to round 2 next week, Thursday, with Georgia Tech versus Tufts. Going to be an exciting matchup. Tufts has Christiana, fantastic solver, but Georgia Tech a little bit more consistent in their solving than Tufts. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. That'll be our first round 2 matchup. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and this is Martin signing off.